Well, hi everyone. I'm John Retlin with a retro view of TNA Slammiversary 2005. Quick disclaimer, I know it's called Impact Wrestling now, but I'm calling it TNA because that's what it was back at the time the show was happening. Also, I wanted to see if nostalgia was just playing with me and maybe I didn't enjoy the show as much as I originally thought I did. And it turns out that was the case. There were some cool moments. There were a lot of bad, moments like on this. And there were a lot of just moments where I was like, this didn't really belong on pay-per-view. It closed good with Raven winning the NWA World Heavyweight Championship, but there was a lot of filler on the show. And it kind of just, of the Slammiversary pay-per-views until like things really started to fall off the rails, it really was one of the weaker ones. And it's not for a lack of effort from the talents, but that's my opinion. Anyway, we get a history package showing, how the company's grown from, June of 2002 all the way to now. Well, the 3 years that the company's been in existence. They could not see into the future, which would have been kind of cool. Anyway, we then get Mike Tenay and Don West on commentary, and they were a great duo. Turning Don West heel in 2009 was a mistake, but I like Mike Tenay. Better lead commentator than Josh Matthews. Josh is terrible and is dragging that company down by his mere presence. He's fucking rotten. He's Michael Cole with any of the charisma sucked out of him, any of the ability sucked out of him. I mean, he fucking sucks. Fucking right. Callis ain't much better, by the way. I mean, I actually don't know if Callis is still doing commentary for them or he just pops in here and there. But yeah, Josh Matthews is terrible. Just had to take that little shot right there. But anyway, we get pre-show footage, which Tenay and West go over. And it's about Jeff Jarrett being suspended after an altercation with Raven, and he shoves the fan. And it's just to write him off TV so he doesn't have to lose in the King of the Mountain match. Jeff Jarrett, all about putting those people over. Or maybe he needs some time off. I'm not exactly totally sure, but it was kind of convenient that it was on this night where he was going to lose a King of the Mountain match. So we start off with a 6-way X Division match where it's 2 men in and the other men have to tag in to get the chance to win. That's usually how that works. Even though it was a bit weird, it was what it was. I think they would have been better just have six-man just human car crash. Because with Shark Boy, Amazing Red, Elix Skipper, who they really dropped the ball on after that great cage walk that he had, Turning Point 04, they pretty much gave up on him, which is really, really weird. I mean, they featured him a little bit. Like, he had a good match with Christopher Daniels for the X Division Championship. But other than that, they really didn't seem to give a shit about Elix Skipper. I mean, I'm not saying the guy was, like, going to be a world champion, but it just seemed like after that moment, like, hey, cool, he can do this stuff. They don't do anything with him. Anyway, the next few are Jarrell Clark, who I totally forgot about, and he was actually had some pretty good ability. Delirious. And Zach Gowen. I never understood or got why Delirious was ever over. I just never did. But yeah, Zach Gowen, he's also in there. 6-way X Division match, and it was barely over 6 minutes. It was a human car crash. It was what it was. They hit some cool flippy-doo-dah moves, flippy shit, and stuff like that. Jarrell Clark hits this freaking like move where he just spikes. I mean, as safely as you can spike somebody on their head. Spikes, I believe, Amazing Red on his head, on his amazing head, if you will. Wait, that sounded a lot less dirty in my head. But then, Shark Boy hits the Dead Sea drop off the top. 1, 2, 3. Pins Delirious. Good. Pins that guy. Good for him. So, it was fine. Shocker versus Alex Shelley. After they got in a brief scuffle backstage, verbal altercation, it nearly led to a scuffle. Shane Douglas doing the backstage interviews, kind of funny. Especially since I'm watching WCW 2000 right now, and just seeing the fact that they probably should have just used him as a backstage interviewer at this point, because in the ring it was not working. It was a good mix of styles. There was some nice mat wrestling to start. Both these guys worked well together. I think the crowd is really starting to not like Shocker here. Even though he could do some cool stuff, they liked Alex Shelley. And Shelley nearly had it. Nearly beat Shocker, but then it was a small package, whatever the fuck that's, that move actually is, because it's a weird tie-up small package, 1, 2, 3. And Shocker gets victory. And the crowd goes mild. Number 5, greatest moments in TNA history. So number 5, it's AJ Styles winning the NWA Championship for the first time in, I believe, June of 03. And then we get 3 live crew stuff. That's BG James, Road Dogg, which win or loss doesn't matter, that idiot. Conan. This is right near the end of Conan's in-ring career because he would need hip surgery soon after and he would become a manager. After doing all the shit that he did to his body, there's no wonder that he would need hip surgery. And then Impact kind of screwed him over by making him want to pay half of it, even though they should have, paid for all of it. Just saying. But then again, Dixie's never skimped on, paying anybody's medical bills. Except they totally did. But anyway, enough of that. Also, Ron the Truth Killings is there. R-Truth, by the way, who's still, you can look at him here and look at him now, and there's almost no difference. Like, how does he still, is he an immortal? Does he drink the blood of the innocent? Does he have the freaking Holy Grail? What does he have? What is his secret? Because he is still able to move as well as he ever did and look basically the same. It's fucking amazing. So, this is all about the Outlaw, aka the former Billy Gunn, who they would have to change to Kip James because the Outlaw sounds a little bit absolutely too close to the New Age Outlaws. But it was about BG James not, getting, or kind of being in the middle of this, but not wanting to take out his former tag partner, despite the fact that his, crew that he's been working with, and wrestling with for a couple years, wanted to show loyalty, which is fair because if you have, a former colleague of yours beating the shit out of your current colleagues, you would want this person that you feel you can trust to actually show their loyalty. We think of Ron Killings versus the Outlaw. I don't know why this was allowed on pay-per-view. It was not good. Roll up, 1, 2, 3. And despite the fact that the Outlaw will be Kip James, Billy Gunn's shoulder was up. I'm just going to call him Billy Gunn. His shoulder was clearly up. Then he attacks afterwards. And then we get BG James and he stops him from using a chair and goes to hit him, doesn't hit him. Conan gets in, then gets upset. They kind of were going to do some stuff, and they reference this a little bit later because, oh no, is there going to be dissension? Is he going to turn on his crew members? Number 4 moment, Raven debuts, attacking Jeff Jarrett. Pretty cool stuff. And then we get Team Canada yelling a lot. They don't fear the Reaper. They also don't fear the natural spiritual advisor, who is a really out of left field pick, by the way. The Naturals, Chase Stevens and Andy Douglas versus Team Canada, which was Eric Young and P.D. Williams. Almost said Douglas Williams. That would have been weird because he's not Canadian. He also wasn't in the company at the time. Scott D'Amore and A1 were at ringside. It was an NWA tag title match. Pretty good stuff. Team Canada was always really good about getting heat, being able to beat the shit out of their opponents, doing some good stuff, like grinding down on Stevens. No, that's not a euphemism. And eventually, a megaphone pops up. Like, what the hell? The megaphone gets tossed in. Oh no, it's Jimmy Hart. He's a spiritual advisor. Because reason. I know Jimmy Hart had appeared in Impact before. It was just weird. Like, it was just weird because I think he had just gotten inducted in the WWE Hall of Fame. Like, I think he got inducted in that class just a couple months before. I mean, it's cool that you got to appear there. It's not like Vince has a lock on every single one of these guys, but you ever thought, wouldn't we want to lock him down on a Legends deal or some kind of deal? But hey, whatever. He got to help out a young team. I don't think that pairing lasted very long because then Shane Douglas paired with the Naturals sometime later. That might have been closer to 06. It was still weird. Number 3 moment, Lockdown 2005, the All Cage pay-per-view. Sanjay Dutt versus Samoa Joe. Joe destroys him. Muscle Buster, Coquina Clutch. Dutt gets in a few shots, but basically is destroyed. Raven promo, he refers to himself as a human cancer, but says he will fulfill his destiny tonight and win the World Championship. Bobby Roode versus Lance Hoyt. Yeah, I'm going to make up some time here and say that I like Roode. I like Hoyt, the current Lance Archer. It's cool to see them in their earlier days. And I remember watching Impact at this time and thinking, boy, I hope these guys go on to do big things. And they were doing good things there. Roode went on to become a TNA World Champion. Hoyt went to WWE. That didn't work so well. Then he went to Japan and freaking killed it as an elite squad member. So there we go. That, wow, really paused a dramatic amount there. And then we get a distraction from Scott D'Amore. Northern Lariat, clothesline from behind, 1, 2, 3. Then D'Amore gets his pants pulled down at one point. That's not what we needed to see. Then Hoyt chokeslams and moonsaults him, and they take him out on a stretcher. Good stuff. And a number 2 moment, Jeff Hardy's debut. And this was a year later, and Jeff Hardy was nowhere to be seen on the goddamn show. Because he was having issues again. He seems to have cleaned those up, but oh boy, at least it wasn't Victory Road. Whew. AMW versus 3 Live Crew, Conan and BG James, Ron Killings, and Outlaw comes out and attacks Conan. That leads to, 2-on-1 thing, and AMW, America's Most Wanted, gets the victory. There you go. That's your lot right there. They win with the heart attack. And then BG James was like, nope, I'm not going to go for the fist bump. I'm not going to go with the Outlaw. I'm going to go out on my own. And then Conan would later turn on the group, I think, It's either at Bound for Glory 05 or right afterwards, and then LAX would come in. Maybe it was Turning Point. Some of that blends together for me. Let me know. Let me know in the comments if you remember. I don't know if it was Bound for Glory or Turning Point. But I know it was before the end of 05. But then, he just leaves. So we get number one moment, Elix Skipper walking the cage. Yes. Why didn't they do more with Elix Skipper? Christopher Daniels versus Chris Sabin with Tranny versus Michael Shane with Tracy Brooks. And almost said Tracy Smothers. That would have been weird, especially for that bounce. But if you're into that, cool. 3-way X Division elimination match for the X Division Championship. It's good stuff. Shane and Sabin continued their feud and everything, playing off of what happened to Hard Justice 05. And then Daniels will play hit and run. We get some flip-de-doo-dah shit. The women get involved. At one point, Daniels has Trinity prepare for the Angel's Wings and tells Sabin, hey, put Shane down. Don't do that. Even though it's a 3-way match, you would want one of the opponents eliminated. But what happens is Cradle Shock, and then just as Sabin gets up after pinning Shane, Angel's Wings, so Trinity's taken out. Trinity also wearing about 30% fabric on her body. I mean, I'm not complaining. It just didn't look like an outfit you necessarily could do any bumps in, because it looked like, any little slippage might lead to, I know we're on pay-per-view, but we're going to have to edit that. But anyway, Angel's Wings would eventually fall, would fall for the fallen Angels. No, it would actually fall Sabin, and he would get pinned 1, 2, 3. So the match is good. This is actually worth checking out. I know I skipped over some of the finer stuff about it, but it was what it was. And then we get Styles, Abyss, Monty Brown, Raven, and Sean Waltman, X-Pac. King of the Mountain match, NWA World Heavyweight Championship match. Excuse me. If you want to know what the King of the Mountain match is, it sounds complicated, and it kind of is. You got a penalty box. To become eligible to hit, it's a reverse ladder match. Instead of grabbing the title off the thing, you have to hang the title after pinning or submitting somebody to become eligible. They actually made it work a little bit better than I just made it sound. There was table crashes, a whole bunch of stuff, some craziness. Raven gets busted open, but Raven in the end would get the victory 1, 2, 3, or not 1, 2, 3. He would clasp it 1, 2, 3. No, it would actually be kind of funny if he actually managed to pin the championship, though Russo would have done something like that. In all honesty, Raven winning the NWA World Heavyweight Championship was perfectly justified. It's weird though, people forget that he won a world championship in TNA, and that was at the time where they were off Fox Sports Net, and they were going to go Spike TV, but Raven would lose the championship at, I think it was Border City Wrestling. I think it was Scott D'Amore's independent wrestling promotion. I think he would lose it sometime in September or very early October. I think it was late September, because they debuted on Spike TV in early October when WWE went back to USA. And honestly, hate to say it, it was a smart move to bring TNA on, because TNA had some really, really good programming for a while, especially on Spike. But anyway, the show overall was decent, but it wasn't great. It did end cool with Raven winning the World Heavyweight Championship. But I can't necessarily say, I was like, yeah, this is a pay-per-view you should check out. It is free on their YouTube channel, by the way. So if you do watch it there, great. If you have the DVD, it's good otherwise. But hell, it's free on their YouTube channel. I mean, what can you do there? You really can't beat free. Anyway, agree, disagree with what I said? Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ritlin. I'll see you soon.